apologize for this, man. My PC is crashing like a motherfucker. My PC is crashing like a motherfucker all throughout this day. That's two times the piece of shit wants to fucking crash. I already did my live show like nearly 2 hours with the Richard Pryor story. It's all about Richard Pryor, so I had to dedicate that to into the memory of Richard Pryor. But it's time for me to do the extras because I'm getting sick of fucking seeing this PC acting like shit all the fucking time. Get shit on already. Let me get this other shit out. Let me do some work. Fuck. It's pissing me off all fucking day. It broke my shit off. All right, we're going into the extras here. Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor was an American stand-up comedian and actor. He was known for reaching a broad audience with his trenchant observations and storytelling style. He won a Primetime Emmy Award and 5 Grammy Awards. He received the first Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 1998. He won the Writers Guild of America Award in 1974. Pryor's body of work includes numerous concert films and recordings. He won the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for That Nigga's Crazy. It is something I said. Bicentennial nigga. Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip and Richard Pryor Here and Now. He is known for Richard Pryor Live and Smoking, Wanted Live in Concert, and Richard Pryor Live in Concert. Pryor served as a co-writer for the Mel Brooks satirical Western comedy film Blazing Saddles. As an actor, he starred mainly in comedies. He gained acclaim for his collaborations with Mr. Gene Wilder, including the films Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Another You. He also acted in films such as Uptown Saturday Night, Blue Collar, The Wiz, California Suite, Superman 3, Harlem Nights, and Lost Highway. He also appeared as himself on Sesame Street and Saturday Night Live before hosting the Richard Pryor Show and Pryor's Place. These are his picture here from like 1974. This is him at the doing a comedy special. Let's see where we're going with the preservation because I'm getting sick of the bullshit. Yeah, there's compilations here. Pryor goes fox hunting. Yeah, it says Pryor goes fox hunting. That's from Laugh. A split LP with Red Fox, Down and Dirty. And it's in the 1970s here. Richard Pryor meets Richard and Wooly. The SLA split LP with the Black Ventriloquist Act, Richard and Wooly, containing previously released tracks from Craps After Hours, Richard Pryor's greatest hits. Contains tracks from Craps After Hours, That Nigga's Crazy. And it is something I said. Plus a previously unreleased track from 1975, Ali. The 1980s, the very best of Richard Pryor, that came from Laugh. Other shit here that came from Warner Brothers. In 2000, and it's deep too. The complete Warner Brothers recordings From the 1960s to the 1990s, it was a nine CD box set that was from Warner Brothers and Rhino. It's a box set. It included something. A box set collection that it has been containing the material, all the material that's from the Warner Brothers albums, plus a bonus disc of previously unissued material from the 1970s to the 1990s. The 2000s here, we got the anthology from 1960s to the 1990s. That came from Warner Brothers Rhino Records. That was in the music. The highlights have been culled from the albums collected in the and its Deep 2 box set. The Evolution, Revolution, the early years from the 1960s to the 1970s two CD set. That's from Warner Brothers Rhino Records. That's from Warner Brothers Rhino Records. That's prior authorized. It's a prior authorized compilation of the material released on Laugh, including the entire Craps After Hours album. No prior restraint. This is the 2010s. This is after Pryor died. No prior restraint. Life in Concert, 7 CD, 2 DVD box set. This is from Shout Factory. A box set containing concert films, albums, and unreleased material from 1966 to 1992. It was a complimentary limited edition promo entitled "Live at the Comedy Store." From it was around in October. It's in October in like October of 1973. It's from Shout Factory. It was from the Shout Factory. The preservation here. The Richard Pryor special was preserved by the UCLA Film and TV Archive from an original 2-inch videotape. The preservation was provided by the John H. Mitchell Television Preservation Endowment. The preserved special screened at the 2024 UCLA Festival of Preservation. The bibliography, uh, prior convictions, and other life sentences. That's from Pantheon Books. We got all the references. You got Richard Pryor here. Uh, something, the Richard Pryor album that was already released. Something from Larry Gatlin, Richard Pryor's official biography, Richard Pryor's website. Steve Jones, Hilton Owls, the Richard Pryor album about him being a Freemason. Nina Simone, Richard Pryor's personal life. Soul Scott, you know, Dana Williams, uh, Richard Pryor Emmy winner that got mentioned. Soul Sauce, Paul Green's mentioning about the multi-platinum record stuff. Uh, Richard Pryor Fast Facts. Was from Rohan, Virginia. I think Virginia Rohan. I don't even know why. We got Henry. We got David Henry in there. Um, SNL transcripts. David Silverman, Derek Jackson. The N word that got used. It's all seen on. It's a word. It's a word that got mentioned. Nigga. Hermets. Algene Hermets. You know, guy on there. Richard Pryor in critical condition after exposure of drug mixture. It's all seen. Chris Summers, you know, he got mentioned in there. Michael Shutt, uh, Dennis Perkins in there. He got references from his wife certain Muppet Show episodes are missing from Disney Plus. Anthony Strand, Richard Brody, uh, Richard Pryor, ouster of criticized African Americans, especially blacks. That's from the Associated Press. Uh, Here's news that was from BBC. There's some BBC news about the death of Richard Pryor in December of 2005. Got retrieved. Rob Weil, Yeah, Robert Weil here, Daniel McQuaid in there. Uh, the complicated friendship of comedy duo Pryor and Wilder. That's been seen. Retro Junk, Pryor's Place. That's all seen on TV Guide. That was retrieved in 2023. Saturday Night Not So Live stuff about how Pryor can make TV history. Clay's appearance on Saturday Night Live. Andrew Dice Clay, he did an appearance on SNL. Um, I don't want to keep. I don't want to make fun of. I don't want to say like I did the video that I did earlier. I was going like take the I was going to do a. I'm gonna go do an impression like Andrew Clay would say. He would say like oh, he would never be able to say that about Richard Pryor. I'm just saying it in my own voice. Like he was like Richard Pryor needs the money. Oh, the Gene Wilder Kiss Me Like a Stranger, My Search for Love and Art, that's seen in Martin's Press. Yeah, they got mention of reference about Harlem Nights movie with Pryor, Fox, and Murphy in it. That was retrieved since it was retrieved in 2023. Got Richard Schickel, Michael Wilmington, Matthew Flam, Chris Sullivan, Todd McCarthy. They got the Richard Pryor CD, um, the biography thing. It was retrieved. Uh, Richard Pryor's interview on the Dick Cavett show. His his uh his widow had came out with a memoir. You know what I'm saying? His wife was running. His wife was in charge of Richard Pryor's estate. George Cohen and Richard Pryor on the Tonight Show in the early '80s. Uh, Richard Pryor book. Pryor's mentioning Pryor mentions this in Contact Music. He said that I owe it all to Lenny Bruce, Larry Gatlin again, Felicia Lee, Nathan Rabin, Audrey Thomas, McCluskey. Some about Pryor stuns friends at the with the wedding, like off to eyes in Wiz. Pryor's wife wants out, hits him with a divorce. Divorce final in August. Pryor gives Debbie big sum of money. Uh, Jennifer Lee with her book. Pryor gets no love as wife files for divorce. Richard Pryor finds love at last. Pryor Jr. Richard, they got a book that's out. I don't even know why. Something that came from his son Richard Pryor Jr. So I've been owed a thank you from him, but he hasn't even never even get on to YouTube, and he wasn't even a fan of my live show anyway. So I don't think he was a fan of it. He never even heard of me in that period. He never even no one heard of me. So James Haskins listed there in the reference here about the bio that came from Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor reweds with fifth wife after he reweds fifth wife after the illness that threatened his life or something. It's May of 1990. Also, it was seen on Jet. It was seen on the Jet magazine that it got put on there. Uh, Richard Pryor's estranged wife is telling how wide their marriage failed. That came from Jet, and there was in 1987. There was a day before. It was a year before that. Bethany Hayne mentioned about Richard Pryor's kids and family. 5 fast facts you need to know. It came from Heavy. It got retrieved in October 2021. Richard Pryor bio, that's from Hollywood.com. Scott Saul again, Janet Maslin, John Blake, Andy Kush. This mentions about along the path to oblivion. And Dave Chappelle assaulted another audience no one else mentioned. Yeah, Richard Pryor's widow confirms that her husband had sex with Marlon Brando from the Godfather movie. David Quinn mentioned about how Ray Pryor mentioning that his widow was like a bottom feeder for Marlon Brando's sex claims. Uh, Jordan Crucchiola said that Pryor's daughter dismisses claims that he had sex with Marlon Brando, anal sex. Richard Pryor's widow said that his daughter is in denial about his bisexuality. I read that shit already uh, from my live show earlier. It's archived from the original and it got retrieved from 2020 to like 2019, back to 2019. It all came from TMZ. Gwilym Mumford, again, I think it was him. It was Gwilym Mumford. Gwilym Mumford is mentioned about Pryor and Merlot. Pryor and say about Pryor and Brando were like lovers. Okay, that's confirmation from uh from Jennifer Lee. I hope Philip Gooden is in the reference. Bad words and what they say about us. Yeah, I came from that book group, Little Brown book group. Uh, Richard Pryor's Peoria was the Devil's Playground that got retrieved in 2018. Jason Bailey, Richard Pryor's comedy special that was out on DVD was from DVD Talk. Like got caught from the original that dated back to like July 29th, 2025. Richard Pryor was proud of affair with Marlon Brando that was mentioned by Jennifer Lee. It was retrieved. It was retrieved in May 19th, 2021. Saul Scott again. What the fuck, Saul? Richard Pryor's tragic accident spotlights a dangerous drug craze by Basic. June 30th, 1980. David Farber mentioned about crack, rock, cocaine, street capitalism with a decade of greed. Okay, Cambridge University Press did their job with it. Pryor, though still critically ill, is taken off intravenous feeding. It's from 1980. Pryor may be discharged soon. Uh, Interview with his daughter Rain Pryor. People. The official bio of Richard Pryor. Indigo. Richard Pryor suffers a minor heart attack in Australia. L.A. Times. From 1990 to like till it got retrieved in 2017. All right, Richard Pryor cracking jokes after triple bypass. It got retrieved. Richard Pryor got retrieved. Matt Solomon. Yeah, Matt Solomon uh, had pulled out that time Richard Pryor flame broiled Burger King for an unethical animal treatment. It got retrieved in March of 2025. Animal research. Celebrities wanted. Retrieved. Todd Benoit pulls out like where are they buried? How did they die? Fitting ends and final resting. Places are famous, infamous, and noteworthy. Scott Wilson mentioned about resting places of burial sites of over 10,000 famous persons. Yeah, nothing was retrieved of it. Uh, Andrew Husband pulled out and mentioned about I Am Richard Pryor, yet another documentary about the comedian offers some closure that got retrieved in late 2021. Autopsy, The Last Hours of Richard Pryor. Autopsy, NAR, Eric Myers, executive produced uh, by Ed Taylor and Michael Kelpie. That came from Reels. Bruce Morton, uh, Those We Lost, CNN, which it was retrieved in 2010. Let's see, Bob Newhart, PBS American Masters. Dave Chappelle, Inside the Actors Studio, Season 12, Episode 10, February the 12th, 2006. It came from Bravo. It came from Bravo. Tambeo Benson said Richard Pryor retrospective at BAM Cinematheque, Brooklyn. 10 days, 20 films, all in 35 mm. That's from IndieWire's archive from the original. On December 2012, it was later retrieved. It was retrieved before it got archived. Richard Pryor Kennedy Center, that's retrieved. Jacqueline Trescott mentioned about Kennedy Center taps Funny Bone, that got retrieved. Corey Leahy, UT Mark Twain expert joins entertainers scholars to honor Richard Pryor Kennedy Center, that got retrieved. Why Chappelle is the man, Vox magazine. Those also known as the Columbia Missourian. It's archived from the original. It was on September 2016 and it got retrieved before that. 50 best stand-up comics of all time archived. That was at the Wayback Machine. It got retrieved. Steve Bennett mentioned the comedian's comedian. That got retrieved. Richard Pryor to get posthumous Grammy Award. That got retrieved. PETA celebrates Black History Month. That got retrieved. Pryor joins PETA's fight against KFC. That got retrieved. Leslie Rankin long effort to honor Peoria-born comedian Richard Pryor culminates in the Sunday unveiling. That got retrieved. The National Comedy Center. Uh, the hall is a new wing of the museum complex devoted to brilliant comics. The Funny Life of Richard Pryor, archived from the original. That's from March of 2016. Kings of Black Comedy. That's from Oxford Films. Is it cause I is black? No Color Bar on Comedy is a new Channel 4 documentary sets out to prove by Brian Donaldson, The Herald. It got archived. It got archived on September 24th of 2015. That was done. Heroes of Black Comedy. That was out in 2002. Oh, this a mention from producer Reginald Hudlin. I forgot who his name was. It's a guy who did produce the George Clinton video "Paint the White House Black." Reginald Hudlin. Yeah, it's Reginald Hudlin. I think he produced the video, 1993. Uh, but he co-produced it with his brother Warrington Hudlin in 1990 with House Party. This is after Richard Pryor died. It was mentioned about how Richard Pryor is the funniest man, dead or alive. They came from Flynn Boulain, one of Pryor's former wives, one of Pryor's former widows. Well, one of his widows who had to be his ex-wife, Flynn Boulain, who he had a child by, who had a child by him. Dave Chappelle and Mike Epps. That's retrieved. Jason Zenoman mentioned that Wild Wired remembered a Richard Pryor retrospective, a Pryor engagement at BAM. It got retrieved. Richard Pryor omit the logic to premiere Friday, May 31st on Showtime. That's archived. I Am Richard Pryor, yet another documentary about a comedian offers some closure. That's posted by Forbes. Watch Black Dynamite, Taxes and Debt to get him to the Sunset Strip on Adult Swim. That's from Cartoon Networks. That's from Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block. All Voices article, July 5th, 2010. That's archived. Flick Direct article, September 10th, 2009. That came from Flick Direct. It got the original have archived and it got retrieved. Kevin Jaggernaut said that Lee Daniels to direct Richard Pryor biopic. Michael Bakari Jordan, Damon Wayans, and Eddie Murphy in the mix to lead. Equals the playlist retrieved. Lee Daniels said Richard Pryor. Lee Daniels is. Let me tell you about Lee Daniels. His Richard Pryor biopic. His. Let me tell you about that biopic. Lee Daniels is. He want to take all the credit. His Richard Pryor biopic to star Mike Epps. That was already been archived and it was been it ain't been archived, but it was been published and it's retrieved. Archived at Ghost Archive, The Wayback Machine, the George Cullen versus Richard Pryor ERB behind the scenes. That came from July 2019 until it got retrieved months after. Laugh Records, A Parade of Clowns and Jesters, retrieved. The Richard Pryor Special, UCLA Film and Television Archive, retrieved. Retrieved early 2025. It's further readings here. It's from Jason Bailey, Anthony Balducci, Cecil Brown, James Haskins, Joseph Henry and David Henry, Wayne Pryor, Andrew Thomas McCluskey, Jeff Robin, Saul Scott, John Williams and Dennis Williams, and this one. It's all external links that I ain't go run into external links. I ain't going to external links. I have to go read the references here. I had to read the references before they cut the shit. But they ain't gonna cut it because I already have to do my job with this shit. It's 2:37 in the fucking afternoon now. I'm supposed to be going back to watching these old adventures of Superman reruns all the time. So I had to go spring into action now. I couldn't do that because I had to go spring into action. You know what I'm saying? Based on the legacy of Richard Pryor here. Based on his comedy. That brought the audience there, so that's his main option. See, you got the old pictures they have of Richard Pryor here. I'll take you straight to the images. See, there's an old photo of Richard Pryor. See, the period. There's mention about how he and Marlon Brando had a sexual relationship. There's another picture of Richard Pryor along with the old ones. There's old photos of him in the suits. So there's old photos of him from like dated back to all the times here when he was in the Mac and other movies. Let's feel his shit with Gene Wilder. His book that came out, released the movies that he was featured in, TV shows that he was in, TV shows and everything else, and the albums that he was already had done. It's all his homework. It's all his homework right here. It's all his life's work. Comedy specials, all the shit that he do, cause the legend of what this man has done. Nothing about about his There was nothing about his sickness. Ain't nothing mentioned about his sickness. It's that prior photo they have of Richard Pryor. There's a prior photo of Richard Pryor, you know what I'm saying? His Sean John, there's him and his widow, his last appearance in 1989. This is him and his Sean John suit there, his Sean John's outfit here. There's him and George Cohen. Everything this man has done, bro, you can't get through. You can help him get through because the legacy that he had. It's the same thing. It's the same way it goes on with about my grandfather, bro. He got sick most of the years. What do you see this picture they have of Richard Pryor? This is Richard Pryor in that I already talked to y'all about in my live show earlier. This is him. This is him in his little mobility scooter that he really drove around with. Look at this. Look at this, man. There's him. This is what it's all about. Richard Pryor and his mobility scooter. This guy gotta click the search within his image. Yeah, there's his mobility scooter, boys. It was him with the leather jacket and the slacks on. He is his mobility scooter. A lot of people, some guys like Teddy Pendergrass, bro. Yeah, let me tell you about Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass himself, he was in a mobility scooter, but he wasn't. He was in a wheelchair. But Teddy Pendergrass, I never know what happened with Teddy Pendergrass, but the man was in a wheelchair. That almost compared to Richard Pryor being in a wheelchair and in a mobility scooter. Yeah, there's photos of Richard Pryor in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair that says American Airlines. The other wheelchair that had nothing. They had shit on it. The Little Richard wheelchair. There's that's a wheelchair that he was already in. Yeah, the wheelchair. I do a visual on wheelchairs and stuff like that. I do a visual. They ain't nothing. See Usher. His arm was already in a sling. They got a picture of Usher. His arm in a sling. Let me get this off though. Let me get this off. Yeah, man. Craziness ain't gonna get you nowhere. All that work that he was doing, they ain't gonna give him nothing else for it. They ain't gonna give him nothing else for it because he had it all. Comedy specials, comedy albums, comedy movies. He ended up on television, like the Richard Pryor show and Pryor's Place. It's all the shit that he's doing. It changed everything. That's his work. So I gotta do this too, because my only thing is we're still getting on to the thing, but we gotta dedicate it to him, man. I had to learn his I had to learn the dates correctly because it's my only shot of dedicating this thing. I got it right. I got this thing right now. See, I got it right this time. I already did that. I made a mistake with the uppercase lettering by memorializing him in all uppercase letters. I had to go do this in upper and lowercase letters now. I made a mistake with that shit. On. I gotta make sure I got his name right. There we go. Had to go get it right this time because it's gonna be more than I had to do. Yeah, I'm about to finish this. I'll go finish this live show here. Gotta do that though. I gotta do this and like I memorialize him by writing his name and everything in upper and lower cases. That's important. I made a mistake with that one uh, uh, earlier today in my live show, based on the Richard Pryor story. It's all about Richard Pryor. I had to redo it. I had to redo it in the upper and lower cases because it's time to do something. All right. Still, this live show goes out into the memory into a memoriam of Mr. Richard Pryor, born born on December the first. What's it? Let me see why. Let me go. Start over. This live show here is dedicated into the memoriam of Richard Pryor, born on December 1st, 1940, died on December 10th, 2005. Rest in peace, Richard Pryor.